Okay. Hey, if you're not familiar with this channel, hey, we're new. We're new with the Chargers, but we're not new to YouTube. We love NFL football. As you can see behind me, there's a lot of Lions stuff. We have another channel called Sports Talk Detroit, one called Sports Talk Extra. But when Harbaugh went to the Chargers, we knew, like, we love Jim Harbaugh. Big Michigan fans, and you are getting a good one. So we said we need to start a channel covering the Chargers because things are going up with the Chargers right now. And let's just be honest, the uniforms, come on, they're beautiful. I'll say the Lions and the Chargers are the two best unis in football, and I truly believe that. So here's the deal. This is what I want to talk about in this video. I want to talk about a rising star that you have as a coach. And this is already, for me, a foregone conclusion. He is one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL already without calling a single defensive play as of yet in his career. And within 2 to 3 years, he is going to be the next Mike Macdonald, who went to the Seattle Seahawks, because he is going to be a head coach candidate very shortly, and that is none other than Jesse Minter. Now, this is a guy that I've been able to watch closely for the last 2 years at U of M, and I understand. I understand the college game is different than the pro game, but we're going to talk about why he has both of those that are doing well. So, Macdonald had a similar path as Minter. Macdonald went from being, I believe it was a linebackers coach with the Ravens, to being a defensive coordinator with U of M for the Wolverines, and then back as a DC for 2 years with the Ravens, and then now he's a head coach. Minter actually comes, believe it or not, with almost a little more polish to him than Macdonald did. So, he was a defensive backs coach for the Ravens. And then in, I want to say it was 2021, somewhere in there, 2020, he went and he became the defensive coordinator at Vanderbilt, which is just such a difficult place to win. But it showed that he had an interest in calling plays. He wanted to go be a play caller. All right, so when Macdonald goes to Michigan, Minter goes to Vanderbilt. Then Macdonald, after 1 year, leaves Michigan. I'll talk about some of the problems he had. And Jesse Minter comes in. And Jesse Minter comes in, and his time with the Wolverines was absolutely insane. All right, and this is 2 years where he doesn't have Aiden Hutchinson. He doesn't have Uche. He doesn't have some of these elite pass rushers, but he still finds a way for the defense to be even better than it was under Macdonald. Now, is there still pro talent at U of M? Of course there is, but there's not top 10 talent. There's barely first-round talent on that defense. I don't even think there is first-round talent on that defense. If you look at it, they're sending 18 players to the combine, but I don't know about first round. So his defense was at the top of most defensive categories this past season, including points allowed per game. 10.4. Are you kidding me? With all the different offenses that are on display in college football, and the different weapons that they have, and the different schemes that they draw up, to allow 10.4 points per game. And by the way, that defense held that ridiculous Washington offense in the national championship down. Held them down. And they did the same to a dynamic playmaker in the Alabama Crimson Tide. All right? And yards allowed per game at 247 on the way to a perfect 15-0% season. They were top 10 unit in third down defense, 29.1, red zone defense, and turnovers forced. In other words, they played at their best when they needed to play at their best. And here's what I'm here to tell you. It wasn't because of superstars. Now, did they have a great lockdown corner in Will Johnson? Yes. Will he be a top 10 draft pick next year? Most likely. But they didn't have any ridiculously game-wrecking players on the front seven. They had solid players across the entire front seven, but Minter needed to get creative to bring pressure. And if you watch the national semifinal against Alabama, you know exactly what Minter can do. He outcoached Nick Saban and the Alabama offense. I think they got to him 5 times, 5 sacks, when there's no one player that is a top sack master. He's just not. So you have Jesse Minter here, and he was good. The previous defensive coordinator before him was McDonald. And so when you look at him, he really transformed the defense, because before that it was Don Brown, who was just set in his ways. I'm going to play man defense all the time. And with McDonald, he changed that, and he was schematically there, but he really struggled with the up-tempo offenses. Up-tempo offenses, he just couldn't do. And then when Minter came in, he was like, no, I got that. Don't you worry about it. All right, I'm going to take care of that. Not only that, but he has been coaching for 20 years. Like, he has a ton of experience. He started as a defensive intern at Notre Dame in 2006. He went on to be a defensive grad assistant for the University of Cincinnati in 2007 and 2008. And then he went to Indiana State, helped 13 Indiana State players earn all Missouri Valley Football Conference. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a big deal when you're talking about Indiana State, right? Then he went to Georgia Southern. He served as their defensive coordinator from 13 to 16, so that's 4 years as a defensive coordinator. All right? He would help them reach a bowl game for the first time in program history. Are you kidding me? 6 members of the defense earned all Sun Belt Conference, and he was a finalist for the Broyles Award at Georgia Southern. That is impossibly hard to do. Impossibly hard to do. Then he goes to the Ravens from 17 to 20. He's coaching defensive backs, and he's like learning even more about the game, and he's learning under John Harbaugh and a great defense there. And then he goes and he starts calling plays again for 3 more years. So this is a guy who's had 7 years of calling a defense. All right? Even more than that. That's not true. At Indiana State, he had more. I think he has 9 or 10 years of actually calling defenses at every level. So you can't sit here and wonder like, oh, is he going to be able to call defense at the NFL level? I mean, he was just a college defensive coordinator. Yeah, but he was an NFL coach for 4 years before that. And he went and just completely dominated the NCAA. I mean, he dominated the NCAA. That Michigan defense over the last 2 years might be the most dominant defense I've seen in college football history. Like, the team that won the championship this year, that went 15-0, has to go down as a top 5, if not the number 1 defense to ever play college football. And when you look at the names on that, you're going to be like, how? They shouldn't have been that good, but they were that good. And that's the guy you're getting to be your defensive coordinator. He is going to use the most. Derwin James is going to have a great resurgent year. If you keep Bosa or Mack, whatever one it is, they're going to continue to have a great year because he's going to set them up for success. This is going to work out really, really well for you. Asante Samuel Jr., you just found your new best friend. All right, let me know what you think of the hire. I just wanted to give you a little more depth. I did a video on the offensive coordinator yesterday. I wanted to hit defensive coordinator today just to give you a full understanding of exactly who these guys are and what you're getting in them. All right, hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.